Yo guys, what's up? This is Ravi here. Um, so yeah, I finally got set up with this streaming slash screen recording setup, which I can actually use to show you how I actually make beats in real time, and you'll actually get to listen to whatever I'm listening to in my earphones through this setup. So I'm really excited. So I would just want to show you how I actually make a beat. Make music from the inception of the idea, the initial inspiration, and then to more or less the finished product. I'll be going through certain production techniques, mixing and mastering techniques. I am by no means a professional, but if you have heard my songs and you think they sound okayish or good, and you want to achieve that kind of sound for your songs or for something that you are working on, so please, I guess this video is for you. Um, so I'll just be using a beat that I made a couple of weeks ago, um, and I'll start off from how I came up with the idea for the beat, and then how I eventually got to the completion of it. So yeah, without wasting too much time, let's get into it. So I'll just play the beat from start to finish, and then after that we can go through each and every element. Okay, so let's get started. So here's the beat. Yeah, so that was the beat. Sort of like hip hop driven and pretty good for laying down some rap vocals or something. Um, so how it actually started was, there's times when I actually go online and do what I call sound hunting. So like I have my sample banks that have all these sounds and snares, different kicks, but there comes a time when you just tired of all those old sounds, so I try to change all my sounds every now and then. So I was doing some sound hunting and I came across this vocal sample. It's sort of like a choir, um, very ethereal, very soothing. So if I actually make this how it was when I heard it, this is how it was. So there. Yeah, so I mean that was just amazing. Something that would give you goosebumps. Um, so I knew I wanted to make something out of this sound, but on that particular day I wasn't feeling, you know, I didn't want to make a slow ballad. I was in the mood to make a sort of like a pumping song, but I still wanted to use this sample. So what I did, um, so first I repitched it. So this is how it sounds. So I just pitched it up a few semitones. Let me see how much. Probably 5 semitones. And then the other thing I did was I time stretched it so that it was squashed and was doing whatever it was doing much more faster. I think almost double the time. So this is how it sounds. This is how the actual sample sounds as used in this beat. Yeah, so I knew that was it, and I started working from there. So I'm actually gonna isolate this sound and show you how it was. So right now, you can see it sounds pretty complete, but that all comes from all these effects. So now, hear this without any effects. Still sounds amazing, but with all these effects, it grasps your attention, and there's a sort of like a retro feel to it. Now the thing is, if I start going over each and every plugin that I've used and why I've used it, this video will probably be a couple of hours long. So if you guys want me to go through each and every plugin and make a longer video, especially those producers and those upcoming music makers who want to try out, want to make a few songs and want to do your own production, you can always message me, and I can actually go through these and make a much more longer video and upload it to my YouTube account, or I can do a Twitch stream on this. But for the purposes of this video, I'll keep it short, and I'll just on and off the entire effect rack and just show you what difference it makes when you put effects on. Okay, so that was the first sound, and of course I had to put something that, okay, so in my head I had a sound. I didn't want a snare, I didn't want a snap, I wanted something like a clock, something like that. So I started looking for a sound that would match that. Let me see, I finally stumbled over one. Yeah, so that's the sound. Let me see where I think it's this one. Yeah. So once again, I'm gonna make this completely raw. So I'm gonna take away this adjustment. I'm gonna take away all the effects. Okay, this is how I actually found the song. This is the raw form of this sound. Yeah, that's it. But the nature and the what I like to call the ADSR envelope, this is sort of like producer jargons. The nature of that clock really appealed to me, so I just had to add some meat and some space into it. So first first thing I did was pretty basic. I just wanted to readjust to the pitch. It wasn't to my liking, so I just readjusted that pitch, probably increased it 1 semitone, I think. And then what gives this the magic is the effects. I would love to go through these effects because every one of these effects has a particular purpose. But once again, like I said, this video will be stretched too long. So this is with the pitch shift. Still very bad. Now let me just add each effect one by one. So let's add the equalization. So now you've noticed that I've like cupped. If someone were to cup their hands and do the, so I've just removed some high frequencies. Obviously you don't need any low frequencies in this sound. It doesn't even have much. Then that initial transient that hits hard, yeah, so you can already notice that it's hitting harder. Gave it some space, as if it were in a room. Yeah. Give it some distortion. it wasn't still hitting like I wanted it to. I wanted this sound to hit so hard that it was like a sound hitting through concrete into your face, you know. And that's where this bad boy comes in. So this is the Camel Crusher. I'm pretty sure, you know, all the producers who started a few years ago know about this. So this is and the end product is this. Yeah. So that's exactly what I wanted. Okay. So these two things together, this is what happens. So I was pretty happy with that. Excuse me for that. So then, you know, I had to do a nice transition into the beat where the kick and the bass just pump in and just, you know, come in. So what I did was a few transition effects. So there's this transition effect here. We'll just isolate this part. This is just basically a vocal reverb, a reverse reverb. You can actually make a reverse reverb yourself, but you know, I just, for the sake of time, I just put one there that I had in my banks. So this is, yeah. So it's like a suck in, sort of like a vocal, yeah, reverse reverb. And then I wanted another impact sound. So this is what I added. So these two. So this is sort of like a gun reloading. It's not sort of, it is a gun reloading. So yes. So when we hear that in the actual mix, this is how it sounds like, the entire thing. So that's so that's amazing. Okay, so let's see what else I have here. There's a couple of things I have here. Okay, so let's just start from. What should we start from? Yeah, okay, let's start from the low end of this mix. So, in some of my songs, you'll have the kick and a different kind of bass. In some of my songs, you know, have 808s and the kick. In this particular beat, I just loved the 808 itself. The 808 already had a kick transient in front of it, so I didn't have to add another kick. I just enhanced that kick. So this is how it sounds. Yeah, it's pretty distorted. Nowadays, you know, people want that distortion. Is actually pleasant to hear. And so let's see if I have given some effects on it. Yeah. Yeah, so a couple of effects here. So without the effects, with the effects on. Slightly more punch. That's the 808. Yeah, sorry. So that's what I do. So I actually, whenever I'm making beats, I start beatboxing. So when I heard that, yeah, so and then in my head it's like, something like that, you know. And then from that skeleton, I actually go and find the sounds that I want. Yeah, so yeah, that was the 808. A couple more things here. Let's go on to some melodic things. This one here. Yeah. So this is actually a part of a longer sample. Oh, sorry. Hold on. It's part of a longer sample. As you can see, I've cut it into a short sample. I've chopped it up. So everything together. I try and hear this sound. I mean, you can hear it. It's there. It's right there. So it's nicely tucked in behind some of these other elements, which I love. You know, I love putting a mixture of things in lower volume, especially these kind of things. You know, it's sort of like ear candy. So your ears are hearing it, but can't really point a finger sometimes as to you know, what's the job of this sound in this mix. It's because sometimes it really it's cohesive with another sound. But I mean, it's different with this sound. This sound you can actually hear it nicely. There's a couple of other sounds that I'll get into, which serve a purpose when combined with other sounds. On its own, it usually doesn't do much, but when combined with other sound, it actually fills in the space. That's the concept of what we call in the production circle, it's called layering. Yeah? So you layer different sounds. So a couple of other transition effects here, some amazing ones, and I really love these ones. So just yeah, so here. So now with these sounds, I am filling up the space, not just within the mix, but within the stereo field. And you always have to use the entire stereo field to your advantage. So if you play it once more, now you have to hear exactly where these sounds are. One sound will be on the right side, one sound will be on the left side, one sound will be on the right side. So here. Yeah. So I love doing these things. I enjoy putting these things just to tease your ears, as to, wow, what was that? That's something that I heard in this year. It might be just instantaneous, just like for a couple of milliseconds even, but it does make a difference. So now, hear these sounds within the entire mix. Try to find them. It's just appearing when it needs to appear. Okay, and then we have... Okay, so for the second part of the initial verse, if you want to call it, there's a synth and a hi-hat pattern. So I'm going to highlight both. So here. Once again. Yeah, so it's a synth. So I think this is the synth. Oh, so that's the hi-hat. So it's just a hi-hat, but I've pitched it down as it goes, and the same thing for this synth. Yeah. Some other things that I have here. This is sort of... Now this sound is just accenting that initial that I had. So it's accenting it every second time. So I'll play these two. So you can hear that extra space that comes in on every second hit. That's the purpose this sound is serving. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. And what else do I have here? I've done this. Okay, let's go to this another layer that I constructed from this original layer. So this is sort of like a lower version of this. So if I play it on its own, it's gonna sound something like this. Very, very low in volume. And this is the original speed that I showed you earlier on. And I've chopped it. So as you can see, I've chopped it many times to make it fit as high as how I want it to sit in the mix. So these two together. If I turn it off, watch the so it gives vibration in your chest. That's how I like to think about it. There's something else here. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is just some bongos. So how it fits into the entire mix. So this is how it. Of course, it's just on the left side of the ear. Like I said, you have to play around with the stereo field. You have to suck every ounce of the stereo field and the frequency spectrum. Those are the two things that you have to make the most of whenever you're making a song. Okay. Yeah, I do have a couple of more things here. Let's go through them. So there's another thing that comes in. So I had this. When you're making these beats, you have to take into account the entire spectrum. Okay, so I felt personally that this beat was lacking in some high frequency instruments. Excuse me. So I added this tambourine, and this is again very low in volume, but you feel it. Okay, just tickle your auditory senses there. So again, this is a loop, and I've chopped it up, altered it a bit. Let me see what I've done. Yeah, just some timing I've altered here. How it sounds in the entire mix. So let's just start it again. Sound that I wanted, and then I just, once again, ear candy is everything. Okay, if you actually go and hear any song, and you actually dissect it, you'll hear some things that you probably never heard before. Okay, because now I'm telling you to go and actually hear them in a technical manner rather than just listening for the fun. So now for a producer like me, now whenever I hear a song, it's sort of like you get cursed, because now I'm listening to every technical aspect of that song, and in order to better myself as a producer, to learn from that song, what new thing did it do, how did it play with the frequency, how did it play with the stereo field, did it use any other mixing techniques. So those are the things that I look for whenever I'm listening to any song nowadays. So so here are a few of those things. So these are very small, very minute sounds, but they add something to the mix. So here they sound. It's like a violin, I think. Like with the screechy bleed. And there's something else here. What is this? Oh, this is just the suck in the vocal reverb. And something else here. Yeah. Again. Now this is, you might even see, this is something that you feel rather than you hear. Okay. Let's see if you can hear this. Okay, in the entire mix. The ear, teasing your ear, keeping your ear on guard. These are things that make your ears perk up when you listen to a song. Even if you don't know that sound is there, but subconsciously your mind is registering that there's something going on there. That's just so, so hidden in the mix. It's there, but you can't put a finger on it. So that's the purpose of these kind of sounds. Okay, so let's get to the actual vocals when the vocals come in. So these are the vocals. Once again, these are just some vocals that were lying in my sample bank. These are royalty-free samples. So so this is the vocal. Let me just isolate these. And I feel free. If you guys listen to EDM, Kygo, Calvin Harris, any major EDM artist, Skrillex, Diplo, all these guys, they manipulate vocals in different ways. They pitch the formant up. So this is a formant pitched up. Basically, I'm increasing the vocal cord length of this singer using a plugin, using a software. So let me just show you what it actually sounded like without anything. Okay, so I'm gonna shift this up, I'm gonna shift that back, and I'm gonna turn off. Okay, let's see just with these things, okay, how it sounds. No, you know what, I'm gonna switch off all the effects. Okay, so of this, so this is the original singer singing it.
And I feel free for the first time. And I feel free.
Yeah. So let's just reverse everything. And then once all that is done, all these effects added, it sounds like this.
And I feel free for the first time. And I feel free for the first time. And
some more transition effects here. Just a basic symbol. And last but not least, see, I love orchestral instruments. If you go and hear my song that I wrote for my mom, it's called Suladema. I actually did can't remember, I think it was a 24-piece orchestra, and I made each orchestral element, so starting from the strings, violin, violas, cellos, and the brass, trumpets and horns, everything. And I made an actual orchestral piece, which I am really proud of. And by far, that song is actually, if you look at composition-wise, that's actually one of my favorite songs. So I always try to put orchestral instruments in every song because I love them. So I put, just as an outro to this beat, I put a string section here. It's just a ostinato arpeggio, I guess. Yeah, so that was the entire beat. Like I said, there's more to this beat and why it sounds like that. Okay, each and every element has certain effects that bring out that element into the space that I want it to be in this song. After all this is processed, then I've actually done a rough master on my master channel, which is why it's taking up so much of my CPU when the song is playing, because all these are high fidelity and oversampled like 4 times masters, plugins, sorry. So yeah, so that's how I make a beat. Inspiration comes in any form. In this case, it was sort of like a audio sample from which I constructed an entire beat. Sometimes it can be anything. Sometimes I see a movie, I see a scene that inspires me. Sometimes it's something that I see when I'm working, when I do something in town, I see someone doing something. Sometimes you just get melodies in your head. So those are the ways that I get inspired. So guys, if you want me to do tutorials on certain things, just basic production, mixing, please do message me or comment on the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to do it. Since I have a setup now, no, I'm just playing around with this setup. I'll have to get a few more things to make it even more smoother, which I will work on. And then I just wanted to do this tutorial as sort of like a prelude to my next song, which is hopefully which will come out probably next month or the month after next. um, and it's since Afro pop is so popular nowadays, it is an Afro pop inspired song. So look out for that, and yeah, see you in my next tutorial. Peace.